Well, we have some restraints and we don't have some restraints. The restraint is if you don't have the money, you can't do it. You may want it, you may think it's good, but if you don't have the money, you can't do it. And if you become a welfare state like the Europeans, you're talking about spending maybe 45% of the GDP by the government on your behalf, and the government taxes and raises maybe 40% of GDP from people. So from the first dollar you earn, you pay 20, 30 cents, and then therefore you can afford the healthcare, the pensions, the unemployment benefits, and so on. In Singapore, we don't collect 40% of taxes in GDP. We don't spend 5% of GDP on social and other government programs. We collect 15% of GDP in tax. So, and we spend maybe 18, 19% of GDP in total government spending. So it's a totally different scale. People say, oh, GST is so high, but actually the taxes in Singapore are very low compared to other countries. Our GST went up recently. In the developed countries, were welfare states, you're talking about 20, 25% of GDP. Plus many other taxes, income, on wealth sometimes, on petrol, diesel, all sorts of things. Because otherwise, how can you afford it? So for us, the constraint is, if you can't afford it, and if you are not prepared to pay for it, then we can't have it. If you are prepared to pay for it, and you think that benefits need to be enhanced, I mean, the payouts are not enough, or the coverage needs to be improved. These are things which you do have to adjust from time to time. We have to do them, but we have to afford them. And that means if we have to raise revenues in order to pay for them and raise taxes once in a while, we have to do that, which was the reason why the GST had to go up. It had to go from 7 to 9. And the reason is because of healthcare. Healthcare expenditure is going up steadily, sharply, predictably, and unavoidably, and I have to afford that, and I have to pay for that. The opposition will tell you, just take a bit more from the reserves, you won't go broke, and you won't feel bad about raiding the bank. But you look at the scale of it, if you want to go for a welfare state and you raid the reserves from 18% of GDP spending now to what the welfare state spends, double that or more than that, I think the reserves, however ample, will be gone very soon, and that won't do. So basically, we have to be able to afford it and spend it. Secondly, the other issue, the other thing we don't have by way of restraint is we don't have a political constituency which says, I don't want so much revenue. I don't want so much welfare. I don't want so much taxes. I want lower taxes, less welfare. Like the Republican Party in America, like the Conservatives in Britain. We have no such constituency in Singapore. There's no such party in Singapore. That's not the PAP's policy. It is no opposition party's policy. Why? Because in Singapore, if you want to form the government, you have no hope of forming a government saying less taxes, less welfare. Because we've made the country equal, we've made the constituencies all mixed, and the majority of Singaporeans are Singaporeans who are both paying taxes and enjoying the benefits. And really, they are in the income groups which will say, give me a bit more benefits, but don't tax me some more. So the pressure is to push the benefits up, to push towards more generous social safety nets, and at risk of going to too much excess, and then we dull the incentive to work, and then we have a problem also with paying for it. So I hope, what does that mean? That means in the absence of a political restraint from a conservative type party, the government has to be the one to be the gatekeeper and the balancer, and has to judge what is this we must spend, what is it which we need to do, which social safety nets are necessary, how far should we go before we draw the line? What can we afford, and what would be wise from the point of view of balancing between incentive to achieve and safety in case you fall upon hard times. And that's the government's job. And over the last 20 years, we've actually moved very far towards better social safety nets. We created ComCare to bring all our schemes together, to enhance the schemes and focus them better. We did Workfare for lower income workers. We did the progressive wage, again for lower income workers, so that it's not just topping up to a certain level, but you have job progression and wage progression. We've enhanced protections for MediShield Life, for medical insurance, so that you can afford your hospital bills, for CPF Life, for old age, so that you have money for retirement, for CareShield Life, in case as you grow older and gradually become less able to look after yourself, you are long-term needing care, and well, you're not in the hospital, but you need some support, you have CareShield Life. So these are all things which we have done all within the last 20 years. It's very considerable. Of course, people will always say, please do more, and we will keep on improving.